Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. I just call in, galactic beings of the purest light resonance, working, supporting, assisting Cassidy here and now today. Calling in all guides, mentors, masters that have awareness of where she is headed and awareness of what needs to be tidied, to allow the full embodiment and receptivity, the codes and keys to land. They're speaking about the codes and the keys must land, and they must be implanted in the fertile soil of the body. If you imagine a shirt and it's made out of these very intricately woven fibers, you have opened the shirt so each of the fibers now have their own portal and space for sun and air and energy and codes and frequencies to land. There are aspects, we use the analogy of the shirt, where the shirt is not equally open and dispersed for we will go into this now. They're saying there's a blind spot at the back of your crown. There is something of a and they're saying they are grabbing a fine microscope to look in at the very intricate discrepancies. So this does not negate the expansion that you have experienced. It further assists the full embodiment of the expansion. So before they read all of that out, I'm just going to connect into your auric field. Yay! Okay, whoa. It's very fascinating. I'm just going to read you your field. They're showing me two layers, right? There's your human energy field, which is probably the field that I usually tap into, and then like 3 meters above that, there is the overarching higher resonance, higher perspectives that you were embodying at that state. Through this journey, they're saying over the next 14 days, 2 weeks for further integration, this higher version of you, this larger auric field, is containing and is the one holding space as the inner vessel, the inner auric field goes through its they're saying a death process. Does this make sense? There are parts of you that are just as you flowers die and then come into the soil, and then the nitric oxide and the nutrients are taken into the soil and then fed back into the larger tree. There are aspects of you that are dissolving still, and this is what we are aiming and wishing to help you with clarifying and cleansing today. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it's funny. I even have plants in my house that are dying, which is
they're saying they're saying you can even lay them out in the soil. They're showing me this like little archway, this little bridge that you make out of like wire or something, or in your mind you can energetically they're saying if you write a letter on it, like the power of words, I now lay my wounding, my wounded healer, my past versions to rest with the soil for renewal into feeding my total self, my totality, my unified self. And this totem, and you bury all of that, and that dissolves as an imprint into the earth, as a signal, as a representation of your journey. So I'd like to come through today and help clear what remnants. Okay, so I'm asking, where can we do the work today as I come in to look at both energetic fields? They're showing me that your field is still, I'm just relaying what I see, is still in flux. So sometimes when I look at someone's field and they've been stagnant, it's very like solid. Your field is in a state of, yes, renewal, advancement, repair, but it's also in a state of like nothing's fully landed yet, if that makes sense. So this is the time to be very poised, to be in a state of honor for self, and to be very rigorous with your they're saying it like this. Imagine if you bought a $10 million house, right, and you've come from renting a shit box. What furniture are you bringing in? How are you painting the walls? Who are you allowing to walk through with shoes on in your house? probably there's a period of time where you just block off the house and you paint the walls in your ultimate color, put glitter, put gold fragments in the paint, let it be its illuminated self. This is very important, and they're talking about your diet. We commend you on the commitment to these things. And they're saying remember to just bring these codes just very gently through your central energy channel and up and out through the larger field, maybe 5 or 6 times a day. They're saying just breathing that light through, down your central energy field and out your body. Because, okay, let's go into it now. Let's go into the more shadowistic elements, because that's why we're here. Please show me where we can do some purification, cleansing, integration. Okay, I haven't been here before, so let's just go up. I'm just taking your frequency and my frequency up, up, up. It's like a very technicolor world, if that makes sense, like where there's a triad of every, like an intersectionality of where all color and sound meet. There's a portal opening. It kind of looks, they're calling it the cosmic womb. Okay, they're saying it's the divine feminine temple. Okay, there's like they're very, very tall beings. It feels like a luxury, like if you were to go to like a divine hotel or something. It's just like a very luxury space, and I'm just laying out your energetic system. First thing that they would like to clear, they're saying there's an aspect of you that is very exhausted from the journey. There's an aspect of you that has been kind of soldiering, warrioring since kind of age 13 or 14 to get to the space where it knew it could relax, where the solar plexus knew it could go, oh, I'm safe. Does this make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Pushing. There's this exhaustion, there's this pushing. So there is something that is clicked in the awareness of the conscious mind, which is a great place to start. It's like you're running in battle, and then you finally get to home ground and you shut the door and you run into bed and you're like, oh, okay, I'm safe. So they want to clear. Okay, do you give me permission to release this this exhausted self, this fighting self, this aspect that no longer needs to live in the push, the fight flight?
Yes.
This aspect of you like to have control, so they're just showing me just these tetherings into the spine. There's an aspect of the ego that lives in the mind that doesn't want to let go, because if you don't use your mind to think your way out of things, or to pre-plan, or to whatever, how do you know that it's going to maintain? How do you know that the train that you're on is going to keep ticking over? So there's an aspect of your inner control that is defying the natural flow that you've experienced in this state. Does this make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
So let's ask to just very gently, please show me all mechanisms of control, all learned perceived behaviors, all egoic structures in the back of the mind that in actual fact is deterring the flow. And I ask to speak to its core wounding, safety, lack of safety. If I don't do it for myself, who will do it for me? It is me against the world. There are people not to be trusted, and if I don't have a keen observation upon the world and they're showing me like a logbook, a diary, when someone's kind of ultra discerning of different types of people to see if they're safe people. Does this make sense? They're saying in part this is inherited like from the father, like they're showing me just the father's line. Has your dad ever said things like you can't trust people in this world, or like has your dad ever been that type of way, like being
Definitely.
Yeah, they're showing me the dad's line of like, they're showing me you at 7. Okay, show me the father's line. Show me these. Okay, it sits in the right like where the shoulder and the collarbone and the heart meet. There is a structure that you chose to embed. They're saying age 7. It's like, I won't ever let someone do me wrong like that. Okay, yeah, it's a wounding. Okay, I'm gonna just gently open a portal of soft asking to release, resolve, dissolve this need for control, this inner child aspect that has perceived certain things around the world. We ask that this be gently, lovingly cleared. They're saying the dynamic is very richly embedded as you were not feeling safe to trust yourself even with your mother. Does that make sense? There's something that you learned. It's like, well, if you can't even trust the one that brought you into the world, how are you even going to trust these extra characters? I'm meaning the rest of people. These extras in your life. So I'm asking to show me any centralized wounding, the sacral. There was a general feeling of being unwanted and unloved that you perceived. Do you remember as a child not feeling love or wanted by your mother?
Yeah, and I was in split families, so I went back and forth a lot and
Oh,
didn't really
wow.
have a key. Yeah, I didn't have like a stable place, and then they had other families, so I was always in between.
What age? Were you 4?
So my mom got married to my stepdad when I was a year old, and my dad got married to my stepmom when I was 3 years old. And then they had a child when I was 4, and I did not like
Yeah.
my sister. I was very upset.
At age 4, they're showing me it's very hurt. Okay, one second. I'm just gonna go into it. Okay. There's a little 4-year-old version of you that feels extremely hurt over the heart. Unloved, unwanted, abandoned, rejected, chosen over, not chosen. Yes, I feel like the energy of fighting for something they're saying was embodied because of the like literal attention. Like, I need to fight for this attention over this thing. I need to make sure that I am seen and respected. So I'm gonna lay out next to your energetic body just like a little pyramid structure, and I'm gonna place this little 4-year-old self. I'm just gonna channel her for a moment. She's like quite sad. She's like, all I want to do is to be seen. All I want to do is be played with and recognized and called beautiful. She's saying that people used to really adore me and things really shifted. So I'm just calling in Saint Germain of the Violet Flame, calling in all masters that look over Cassidy. There was also a weight that you held over the throat. You had to keep things silent. It's almost like someone told you to be a good girl and everything's okay when you didn't feel like everything was okay and your voice about the situation wasn't heard, but you didn't have any choice. You didn't have any weight behind your voice. So I'm just clearing this. This also rejected you to be able to receive things in a slight way, because an aspect of your mind knew that you were being... Okay, this is important. An aspect of your mind at this age knew that you were being treated in a certain way to keep you... It wasn't an authentic connection. You were being told things that they thought you wanted to hear to keep you passive or to keep you in line. Does that make sense? So you learned not to trust that love was authentically, inherently delivered to you because of it expounding from your mother and father's heart as a necessity. Like, the love that they just feel for you didn't feel an authentic cable from their heart into your heart. You felt unconsciously, because you're extremely perceptive as a child, that you were being fed a script to pacify you. Does that make sense? It's almost like someone being drugged in a way. Okay, let's clear. Do you give permission to release any and all?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I just need to say it out loud so I understand when I'm clearing. Clearing any and all belief structures that were absorbed at this time around her worth, around her identity, around people genuinely loving her and recepting. Clearing the need to question love. Fury, frustration, anger, demise. It's just clearing out. There's actually quite a lot of repressed emotion in this inner child. Just placing an energetic vacuum over the left side of your heart where you do not feel wanted, where you did not feel wanted or loved or cherished or valuable or beautiful or chosen. Clearing out any and all pain or hurt out of the heart now, please. Some of it's very resistant to clear, so I'm going to call on your higher self to step forward. I call on all angelic beings of light. I call on all masters, all guides. When she wrote the contract to incarnate with this mother, okay, it goes deeper than this. So I'm going to open up the highest organic Akashic template record. I'm opening up the highest organic Akashic, going into the highest organic Akashic records. Okay, whoa. Woo, your records are huge. Okay. Please show me, are there any contracts or templates around abandonment or unworthiness? Yes. There are 6 to potentially clear. There are 4 that are definitely being cleared in this life. An aspect of the lesson that she came to learn was to choose herself above all costs, above all perspectives, above all positions of power or people's projections. Choosing yourself separate to the, it's like no one can give you a piece of paper and say, this is your worth, and a gold ticket, this is your worth. You can't collect them and it adds to your worth. It is about you already being aware 100% of your inherent worth. So when someone gives you the ticket, you're like, oh, thanks. And then you put it down and you're like, I already knew that. I'm good. Or thank you for recognizing that in me, but it doesn't add or subtract. Nobody can add or subtract from your worth because your worth is inherent. Okay, there's a fear to express the fear, which is interesting, a fear of the fear over the throat. So I'm just asking to clear. Clearing the fear to ask for what it is that you want. They're saying there's a fear. Okay, it all ties it together, so I hope you're following. There's a fear in the throat to ask for what you want because you will be perceived. You fear that you'll be perceived as vulnerable or weak. And if people see you as weak, this dismantles everything that you've sought to accomplish in feeling strong. But the feelings of strength have been generated as a paper mache version of you around you. The inner version of you needs to understand, and this is where it ties in with the inherent self-worth. When you were a child, or this elongates back into further past experiences, they're saying, imagine you sitting in the middle, and then the paper mache version of you is the painted with the face and this and the strong and the strength and this. The golden aspect of you inside needs a reclamation of these fractals that have been suppressed or denied or rejected all the way out into space. So I think we should do a soul fragment recall from experiences where your power or your worth has been siphoned. There are galactic lives where your energy is being siphoned. They're saying it's unimportant to go into the narrative because we could be here for like the next 6 hours. What is important is the awareness that you are now ready to fully embody everything that deserves and belongs to you and has over time. So in the accentuation and the acclimatization to your energy, the paper mache fold will now no longer need to act as a mechanism for protection, because you will not ever feel the need to be protected. And when you yourself are acclimatized to your inherent worth, you will understand that being vulnerable and asking to be seen, to be recognized for more, is an inherent desire in the acceleration and the expansion of a soul. It is a necessary step to ask for more. It is a necessary step to ask for help. Only a fool would perceive it as a weakness. Does this make sense?
Yes.
They're kind of being bossy.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So before I do that, can we please go up into a higher realm? I just want to be a bit clearer. Okay, 14th dimensional temple palace. Okay, your higher self is up here. That's nice. Okay. Okay, your higher self is standing behind you. You're actually sitting in this pyramid structure. She's saying you are ready now to see more than you have seen before, because you are ready to, as deeply as you have gone into the dark and the shadow, you are now ready to see the light. She's talking about Lemuria. Okay, so before we bring in these codes, is there any templates that I can, yes, okay. Okay, asking to clear any lack consciousness from her system, asking to clear any I can't even use words, 1 second. It's just coming out of the back of the spine, pulling out inherent unconscious unworthiness that is being perceived across all time, space. Clearing any fear to be vulnerable, to be seen, to be heard. Clearing any false light perspectives of herself, for false personality constructs that are inhibiting her solar plexus now. Clearing any needs to be recognized by people who cannot recognize her due to their own limitations. So I'm just going to pour a stream of golden white light of enlightenment from your higher consciousness before we do the activation. I'm just in the back quadrant of the mind. I'm asking this light to absorb any unconscious, subconscious programming that was obviously there for a reason, but doesn't match the total awareness. I don't know what ubiquitous means. Second, I'm just going to go through your timeline, just through your ages, so just from 4. Okay, interestingly enough, as that golden light's coming through your crown, Isis, she's stepping forward, and she's saying there is dust across your heart that does not believe you are worthy of the full. She's showing me this like pendant or this golden thing, and when you wear that, it means that you're one of the masters. It means that like you're kind of in the club. You're of the vibration to be like with them. So there's dust across, like energetic dust across the heart. It's almost like how people who do not feel worthy, if they were to meet Jesus, they couldn't look him in the eye. There's the same kind of energy of your heart where you feel slightly less than, and they do not want this to be there anymore. Are you ready to release any of that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, she's blowing this like that. 1 second. Clearing all unworthiness, all of this dust, all of this unconscious. 1 second. Yatasia asenanisia sososhia sisia nesikia sukushana nisia rosokonia sukushia ratosonanikia. She says, my child, why would I come to you in the moments of the night? Why would you seek your connection with me if you did not know you were one and the same as my child? She's saying it has taken a lot of bravery for you to be and step up to the place that you are, carrying the past that you have carried. So she's just clearing, there's just like a bunch of timeline cords coming out of the back of the spine, and I'm just asking to disconnect. Okay, 1, Clearing any weight, clearing any heaviness, clearing any past versions of Okay, there's just like a very intense golden tornado of light, just like pulling energy out. 1 second. She's saying stand with your shoulders tall, opening up the energy between the ribs to hold more, to embody more, to magnetize more, to experience more, to be more, to allow more, to see more, to feel more, to know more. She wants to say, do not dim your light, do not dim your intelligence for a man, for a woman, for anybody on this planet again. Do not shrink yourself to a size that is palatable for someone to feel comfortable in their presence. Do not do that, for you do a disservice to your frequency, to your name, to your original source consciousness. Does this make sense?
Yes.
So just clearing the sadness from the soul of any time that you have stepped down when you could have stepped up, where you have dimmed where you could have expanded. They're showing me different boys. And she says boys, not men. There is no shame in knowing your power. There is no the venomous projections of others' jealousy is a reflection simply of their own centralized woundings. Allow yourself to see through the fear of 1 second, the light's just going into the throat. She's just clearing off the tongue and inside the esophagus. They're saying they're clearing all times you could have said the truth about something. They're saying like sitting in space and people talking about something as if they really knew what they were talking about and you could see through it and you knew that they didn't know and you didn't correct them. Times where people were the authority figures but what they was preaching was not actually true and you could have said something but you didn't want to offend, disrupt, disturb. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're clearing the unspoken truths that is your right to bring forth. And the fear of judgment, the fear of hurt, the fear of it's turning into this turquoise blue light. 1 second. I'm just going to hold it there until the throat energy runs clear. So 1 second. She's saying, when did you let your crown fall off your head? When did you let your light dim? I'm sorry that the world has hardened you. But when you are in your power and your light, you will recognize that gold is more malleable than steel. There are lessons to be learned in the malleability of your and flexibility of your consciousness, and this is the lesson that you are learning to wield for yourself. When to be hard, when to be soft, when to she's showing me how gold can make a beautiful bracelet that wraps around your wrist to be adorned, to be looked at. And gold can also make a very powerful doorway that no one can penetrate. So as you come into your golden light, know when to play which character and which energy, knowing that at any moment gold can dissolve and be born into something else. Alchemy. Okay, so I ask for any activations of her power, of her strength, of her knowledge, of her wisdom, of her light, of her worth, any and all soul fragments, calling back any and all aspects of her soul that have been repressed, rejected, denied from this life across all timeline. All joy that has been diminished throughout this life, returning into her now, all freedom, all playfulness. All energies of freedom, the sensation of feeling free in any social scenario, returning back into her heart, returning back into her life, returning back into her field. Asking for any codes of activation for her solar plexus in this way, the sensation of so there's a light just spinning all the way around your larger auric field, and as it is, it's like a magnetic, it's like a dust storm of gold and the light particles that are now magnetizing to the centralized core energy within the central energy channel. One moment. And outside it is like an electrical storm, and they're showing me this is the re-embodiment of your inherited power. Moving that into the heart now. Feeling the relief it is to reabsorb these versions, parts of you. Now she's just stabilizing your central energy channel, the toroidal field. She's just showing me divine wisdom's coming in through your crown, and I'm just making that central channel. It was a third of what it could be. I'm just opening that up so it flows a little more. They're saying with this opening there is a larger passageway for forgiveness and awareness of those who have done you wrong, for you no longer are vibrating entangled in their vibrations. It is from the higher lens that sets you free. So just opening up the quadrant of the heart, because you now know that there is an untapped well, an untapped reserve of just opening up the heart a little bit more. Where love knows no bounds, there is a realm within the garden and the portal of your heart. Moving that light down into your sure-footedness. 1 second, I'm just moving into the solar plexus and making sure. Show me any no patterns. Okay, is there any disbelief here around everything. They're painting like literal, it looks like hieroglyphs, but it looks like also like light codes along the back. They're saying imagine that your solar plexus is like a cave, and as you go into this space you uncover like how indigenous would leave stories and codes of the past. There are versions of you of the past inscribed in your solar plexus that can be imbued as you project your light out into this reality where you can utilize more versions of you, more fractals of you, more. They're saying, wait 1 second, I'll just do it and then I'll explain. Avalon. I'm just gonna code. They run down, like up to down, not left to right. Please show me all codes that are ready to be activated around her multidimensional fractals, her multidimensional gifts, her multidimensional power, so she may never feel in question of her worth again, of her. They're saying over time of the next 18 months, it's like someone who carves something. They have to carve it out and then they put a top coat and then they paint it and then they might fill it in with gold. They're saying these aren't all activated. There's like 6 rows and 6, it's like 6 rows and 6 down. These codes are going to be activating through your physicalized, through your meditation, through your energy, and just the process has been started, they're saying. But as you start to embody more, it's going to increase the quotient of light that is embedded and imbued into these symbols. Like one's like a, I could kind of draw it, but I'm not very adept. I'm just going to structure them out. They're saying you might even start to see more symbology. It might look Egyptian. It might look like different things, but you might see it and be like, like it might make you laugh. Like you might see a dude's shirt and it has a symbol or tattoo. Like there's something about symbology. No, these are meant for you. Okay, just to end, there is a ship above Ishtar. Ishtar. I'm a council member and I help with the interconnectivity of those ones who are foreseen to carry certain messages for humanity. I invite this frequency to sit in holy communion with me, for if it is your highest honor and duty to share what you are meant to share, I would be most grandly honored to facilitate this recognition and earthing for you. Does this make sense? So there's like a ship that I'm seeing above, and there's like a galactic dude being, and he's saying as you go into meditation, you can work with your players. There's like Isis and Christ and different realms, but there is like information that can be accentuated within your field, that when you deliver certain messages, it comes energetically infused with what he's making me feel is like information from a future time that needs to be seeded now. Please tell me this makes sense to you.
Well,
does this cool. Make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean,
if it doesn't,
partly.
Like, okay, well, yeah. So
yes and no.
So at the fall and rise of every collective civilization, there have been ones who have been in the know, who have been on the ground for recon, for planting the mechanisms that create change. They're showing me Donald Trump and King Jong-un. Okay, they're saying there are archetypal players that have a script and have a duty. They're showing me Hitler, that have a duty to either be the detonators to create the tectonic plate shift, the metaphorical tectonic plate shift that disrupts from below to create change. And there are the ones that are seeding, as the tectonic plates shift, as a metaphor, they're showing me little seeds that go down and form, well, this is fucking cool, I feel like I'm on a drug, that formulate the matrix. So if you imagine the matrix as like a grid, as like a malleable grid that kind of flows, it's like, looks like the mesh that you put in as a skin graft when someone really burns themselves and then they have to graft it. Does that make sense? So there's a grid that gets placed, and this grid is like, it's a different if everything used to be made out of grayscale, think about the war when TVs were in black and white. The grid is like tetracolor, like universally harmonized information. So it's not just information from this realm, it's a more unified with the star family information. So your role is not to go down and just and plant it. Your role is to plant it within your own frequency, within your own solar plexus for you, because this is where your power shines. An aspect of you here is for empowerment, for people, for others, for yourself. And in your actions, in your embodiment, when you do a certain activity, word, speech, post, when you are aligned to this higher mission with these higher embedded informations, you are carrying an aspect of the future, which is like your star family that have already moved from this density into another density. Does this make sense? Like, he's showing me the progression of different star nations. They had to make a shift at some point, otherwise we'd all still be like a lizard under a rock. You know what I mean? So he's just putting an energy into the spine. 1 second. He's saying Martin Luther King. That speech was profound and everlasting, for it was entangled and accrued with, he's showing me his body and his spine and his voice. If you imagine just a human's voice, maybe a blue cord comes out of his mouth. The cord was entangled with very ultra golden white harmonic light that wrapped around those words, and it spread. Its potency, its energy, its frequency was illuminated for a far greater time, and the effect was far greater, for these codes in his voice created pollination, just as a bird carries a pollinated seed and drops the seed all along the land, so more of those trees grow in another country. The seeds within the voice are seeds of activation of another time planted now. This is how the new earth is created. Does this make sense? This
that
is
makes
really
more sense.
Cool. Yeah. So the codes that are coming online in your solar plexus, and why I encourage you to sit with me. And he's making me laugh. Do you know what's so funny? My son got out a book this morning called, I feel like crying, the Kyle Gray book. There was like an insight to the masters or something, and I opened up to Ishtar Commander Ishtar, and I was like, that's funny, and I read it and I was like, what does he do? That's cool. And he's saying there is no coincidental, because usually I put books away and I'm like, I'm late for work, like so for me to stop and read it is fascinating. And he's saying, on a personal note, he's laughing to me and just saying like, girl, like, we know each other, like don't pretend like a why are you playing coy with me? He's saying yes, you and I hold these codings in different areas of our body, because we are here to project different the humans that are going to entangle with the seeds are humans that are also in accordance and alignment with your mission. So empowerment, embodiment, physicality, expression. They're saying the codes through encoded frequency that are coming through me are for like psychic galactic awareness. They're saying this does not mean that there is any limitation to the contract that you signed. You are within your right at any point to go back to the table, the smorgasbord of food, and ask for a different flavor, ask for more, ask for potatoes with your peas. Like he's saying, it is simply what your physical body can handle and what your energy can handle to also maintain a balanced human life, going to the beach, hanging out with your friends. So he's saying that there is a well-roundedness that needs to be accompanied with such a kind of like ginormous task. And this is why you people are not aware of what you're here to do, because you would sit down and cry.
Oh, great.
like the energy he's making me feel like he's kind of like he's not like he's funny in like a very dry serious way, and in a funny way, like just a wink every now and again of like he's saying if humanity would stop sitting down and saying, and he's showing me someone sitting down and with their hands, behind them is all their shadows, behind them is boxes of junk, behind them is things that they could be actively doing to help themselves, and they bend and they kneel at their bed and they say, God, what's my purpose, he's saying if more people could understand that your purpose is to look at these elements behind you. That's step one. He's saying you have to eat your vegetables before you can have cake. Does this make sense? So a message that he wants to leave is like, and he's saying this goes to everyone. I don't know who the heck everyone is, but just the human world. The greatest, highest honor and duty that you are being called to at this time, for it will not be forever. He's saying over the next 6 years. And this is why there is an acceleration of shadowistic elements, relationships breaking down, friendships breaking down, trust being broken. These things are coming to the surface in tower moments, bombs. So you can finally turn around and look at all the stuff in the boxes that you've been like, I just want to get to the good bit. What's my purpose? How can I help humanity? How can I help people? And he's saying we do not mean this in a taunting way. We mean this in a very real, this is the steps. So do you have any questions? Because it's very interesting to communicate with him.
What's the best way for me to connect?
Okay, he's saying go into the star portal of your heart. In your heart, you can imagine that there are several different access portal ways. You are very adept at the nature portal, so imagine you're in a room right now. It's a beautiful garden, and there are 3 doors in front of you. To the left is the door that goes into the earth, into Gaia. To the middle goes into the higher angelic realms, and to the right goes a door, a portal into your galactic heart. He's showing me like you open that door, and then there's a hovering like craft, if you will, sitting there. Are you following this imagination? You step into the craft and you put on your spacesuit. Yours is like a cool white, like you just visualize your spacesuit. And then you look at the coordinates. So imagine that there is a headboard and you plug in like 369 or whatever your agreed upon frequency is, or you can type in Ishtar Commander, beep boop beep, whatever. And you imagine a galactic portal beam of light, setting your purified intentions of your heart to connect. And he's saying you can access the channel as 2 ways. You can download the information, or you can come up and resonate in our frequency. So he's saying just imagining I'm just going to take you up with me, just coming up, and then there's like a little dome. It's like a thing where like the air is different up there, and then he's saying there is a hub in the center where, like, imagine like a headboard, and it's like a larger ship that you've just entered, and then there's like a headboard, right? There's like a You know how you go to a doctor's office and then there's that lady sitting behind that big desk and she's like, hey, how can I help you? There's like he's like sitting there on the desk, and there's a chair for you, and there's like an abacus. Lol, we're so much further than that. That's so funny. That's so funny. He's trying to make a joke that, like, if you were to teach the type of maths that they use, he would need to start with us because we're so elementary using an abacus to count numbers. That's like, he's making a joke. Does that make sense? Yeah. Go, we digress. There's like a blackboard, there's a whiteboard, whatever mode, method of you perceiving information works for you, whether it is a communication back and forth, whether you show me your iPhone, press record, and you just start talking to him, whether you ask images to be shown on... He showed me a blackboard, but it's really like a hologram. Like, you can create whatever you want in there, and you just ask questions.
Cool. Okay.
1 second. He's saying, yeah, we leave you now. This is a valuable insight information for now. Okay, so you're just coming back down, just giving thanks to that whole space. Bye. See you again. Okay, coming back down through the portal. I'm just gonna seal off your field. Okay, wow, yay. Lots of energies just being activated. Okay, I asked to take up the inner children version to the integration dimension, the healing room. Thank you. Just moving, just like this neutralizing, integrating. It's like a pearlescent white creamy light just through your central energy channel. It normalizes everything. And then just wrapping, sealing up your field. Saying 21 days for full integration. And they want you to wear a signal or a totem over your heart, like this. It's like a pendant, of like an Isis pendant. Could be something.
I have exactly.
Oh, you have it? Okay, cool. That's amazing. So yeah, wearing that pendant, but not for too long. Like not always. It's like a special thing where you wear it to feel it. It's not like an everyday thing and not an all day thing. Like, yeah, interesting. She's learning to balance her powers. Okay, so I'm just going to seal your frequency up. Wonderful. I'm going to give thanks to all beings, guides, energies present here today. Thank you so much for your time and energy. Thank you so much to Cass for everything that she is and expanding to and giving for humanity, honoring her, respecting her. Amen. And just giving thanks, blessing, dismissing, closing down all interdimensional portals, all landscapes, all scenes seen here today, taken up to full God Source light now. And bringing you back down into your physical body when you're ready.